Hi, I'm Chris. This is my review of my reading today for Bible in a Year. I'm reading the Bible chronologically, and I'm reflecting on each day's reading. And today's reading is of 1 Chronicles chapter 29, not all of 29, but most of it. And then we have 1 Kings chapter 1. In 1 Chronicles chapter 29, we're looking at the end of David's life. He's getting long in his years and starting to not feel so good. There's some things in there that are kind of interesting, not prescribed as we should be doing these things, but there's some things in here that are described as how they did things. And it's an important distinction that we know that. There's also in here where David gives, and this is something that's prescribed that we should do, is giving. David gave all of his possessions to honor God, to build the temple. And he wanted to honor God in that. And that was a good thing. And he goes into, in his prayer and praise, to state that all things come from God, and God needs none of what we have to give. But David wants to honor God and show others how great of a God he is by building this temple for God. Not that God needs that, but this is what David felt like he needed to do. So he was honoring God in this. We also see in his prayer that we adore you as the one who is over all things. So he acknowledges God's power. He also this is another important distinction here, that he acknowledges that at your discretion, people are made great and given strength. At God's discretion. We should not think of anyone more highly than they are based on where God has placed them. We should not think of ourselves any less than we are because of our position and what we do. We are all God's children, and we all have a place and a way that we should be living. And the most important thing we can do is live with integrity, and he touches on that. And really the best thing that we can offer God is our praise. That's what he made us for. Again, all things are his. Our days on earth are a passing shadow, gone so soon without a trace. Another thing that he pointed out in his prayer of praise. Let's see what else. There's another important thing here that I noticed, that they bowed low and knelt before the Lord and King. That's something that they did in honor of God, to honor God. It's a description of a way to honor God. Bowing low, kneeling down. These are things that honor God, and that's why we even do them today. We might kneel. We find churches. I know our church has an altar that we can kneel at, and that's because right here it was a way to honor God. Another thing that they did to honor God is they lifted hands in praise. They lifted hands. They praise with hands raised. That's a thing. I know some people are not comfortable with that at all, but that's a thing. That's in here. It's described as a way that's done. And it's a good thing. We have to differentiate what's good, what's bad, but that's a good thing. Then we get into the Solomon being named as king, that being the promise from God, but yet David's other son, Adonijah, trying to claim it. And he goes through all these things, and he gets people to back him. And it says right here that King David had never disciplined him at any time, even by asking, "Why are you doing that?" And again, that's something that we need discipline. Our children need discipline. They need to be corrected and guided. And our Father, our Heavenly Father, will direct us and guide us and discipline us when we get off track. And it's out of love. It's strictly out of love. So if we're doing something wrong, we should know that. We should know about it. We should be disciplined so that we don't cause trouble as Adonijah did. And then it also caused David some trouble too, just by having to go through a process and and turn over his kingdom to Solomon and make that happen. He had to go through that whole process. And it took some people to do that. Now, God could have just made that happen, had it done, because God had already said that Solomon was to be king after David. That was stated. But he instead, we had to go through some trouble, some heartache, some timing, people pointing it out at the proper time to David in the proper way that would make him respond in the right way. And that's what happened. So through that process, it also brought Adonijah to panic and seek solace from Solomon, seek his favor, and because he tried to do this on his own. So important things. We have to watch what we're doing. We have to do things on our own. We have to honor God with everything that we do. And, well, we're looking forward to more reading. So with that,